Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first edition of Sunday School. Okay, so every Sunday we're going to do a little tutorial for you guys because a lot of you guys like tutorials. I don't think I've done one of these for YouTube anyway. For I don't know how long. It's been quite a while. It's been a couple years. So just admitting people there. So if you are watching this live, welcome. Say hi in the chat. If you are watching this in November, we are actually filming this live on my Patreon right now. So we have patrons watching live, and we have some people who are actually zoomed in right now. So I'm going to quickly bring them on screen. Get ready. There. I'm going to bring you on screen here, guys. There we go. Here we got Kyle Horn there, and New York there, and Alexi there. Alexi, his YouTube channel's Drawings for You, right? Alexi, that's right?
Yeah.
Yep, drawings for You. New York is New York, right? I believe. Yeah. New York, there you go. And it's very bright there for 11 p.m. It's 11 p.m. your time?
Yeah, 11 p.m.
And there's sun? Is that sun out there?
No, that's...
Is that a light?
Okay.
I thought that was light coming through the blinds there. I got confused. There you go. And how about you, Kyle? You have a YouTube channel there, Kyle, or still Instagram?
Kyle Horn Art. Pretty much all over social media: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Right on.
Awesome. So go check them out. All awesome artists and joining me today. So welcome, my friends. Okay. So I'll be honest, I don't know what to do today. So, do you guys have any preference? I would prefer to do something I haven't really taught in a while. I know some were asking for like perspective lessons, but then I have like videos of that, and that's kind of boring if you ask me. For me personally. So depending, do you guys have any suggestions of what we should do today? I also put up. I asked on the main channel if anyone has any suggestions, so maybe I'll go there as well. But if you guys have any suggestions, by all means, let me know. But so this is gonna be fun. So I'm planning, depending what it is, hopefully it won't go past. Well, usually these things will be between an hour and 2 hours. That's what I'm thinking, depending, unless it's just something really, really simple, or if I said enough on everything, right? So now, a couple things we could do here, and like pulling up what we have on the main channel here. We got, for example, some people were asking proportions, some were asking details. Of course, those are stuff I could show if we actually drew an actual character. And then we have people who are asking for characters. Someone said a panda, and that's by somebody named Panda. There you go. Panda, thank you, Panda. There you go. Or someone's asking a dinosaur. I don't know if I'd be the best at drawing the dinosaur. I could try. I could definitely try to do a dinosaur. Let's see here. And of course, everyone's mentioning characters, specific characters here, which we could actually do for sure. Transformer, maybe not a Transformer, just because I've done Transformer, and I will be doing a Transformer in the next couple weeks. So we'll go over the mechs, and okay, we got a Harley Quinn here, and I don't know, shadowing. Shading. Well, the thing is, though, when it comes to those things, like shadowing, shading, and perspective, like I could do an actual thing on those, but if I drew a specific character, I could actually cover a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, how about you guys? You guys have any suggestions? Possibly characters, or even just like a main topic, or something you would like to learn, by the way, since you guys are here?
I had like 10 minutes ago, but I just forgot it.
You forgot it?
Yeah, same.
That's okay. It's a holiday here in Canada. We have Thanksgiving tomorrow. Our Thanksgiving's tomorrow, by the way. So we're in turkey mode. I'm nothing. I was supposed to do all this work today. I did nothing today. So So you guys are the only work I'm doing today. So,
Maybe
Yep.
light and shadow on a character.
okay, yeah, definitely. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Why don't we do that? We could focus on shadowing, and I think that's something that a lot of people want to know. And you guys have any specific characters in mind that I could practice the shadowing on?
Maybe the Hulk or something.
The Hulk?
Yeah.
We'll keep it simple? All right, we'll keep it simple. The Hulk. Okay, we are doing the Hulk then today. And I can also touch on proportions and all of that stuff when it comes to drawing big characters like that, for sure. Okay, so let me just go back to make sure if anyone's chatting here. So if you are watching live, by all means, say hi in the stream, but we'll go ahead and start drawing. So I'm going to take you guys off here. We're going to go to our paper here. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sketching with my pencil here. In terms of materials, people always ask me what kind of materials I like to use. Oops, wrong cameras. I got so many cameras going on here. So before I would use like a blue pencil. Now I use a Sakura 07 or whatever. Honestly, I'll just use whatever cheap pencil I have at this point, just because I'm cheap. But this was free. But I'll use whatever I have in my arsenal here at the moment. Okay. Maybe we could even do a touch of foreshortening and everything. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. So you guys live, you guys here with me. So Kyle, York, Alexi. If you guys want to follow the same thing I'm doing, or if you want to apply it to something that you're doing as well, that would be cool as well, if you wanted to do something like that, right? So let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and draw the Hulk here. And maybe we'll just do a couple things we're going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, start with the head here, and I want to make sure that you guys can see it. So I might adjust the lighting here just a little bit. So just bear with me. I'm just going to adjust the lighting. That's a little bit better. Just so you guys can see a little bit more what I'm doing here. Okay. So the thing with the Hulk, of course, doesn't have the same proportions as you would a regular superhero here. Okay, so I always like to start off using circles. Sometimes people would do, and I would do this too. Sometimes I would go ahead and do a little quick gesture. You doing a stickman type thing, right? And then try to get the curve of the spine, but at the same time trying to understand, for example, where the rib cage is, like I'm doing here. Try to figure out where the hips are going to go, and then I would go ahead and try to figure out what I'm going to do with the arms and stuff. So we'll do something not too simple, because I do want to show you guys what my thought process when I'm trying to shadow here. Okay. So maybe just something here. So maybe his back is hunched over a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and add some shapes, just so I could kind of figure out the size of the arms. Okay, as you can see, a big hand here, but the thing with the Hulk, he's got like a small head. He's always got like a small head going like that. Okay. And go ahead and add in the biceps like so. Maybe we'll start off doing my classic, my hands are closed and facing upward pose, just because it's easier. Okay, so something like that. The fun part about having a camera is I could actually look at it top down here. So just trying to rough out the different proportions of the muscles here, and trying to figure out what I like in this case. So after doing that, I like to go ahead and add in the collarbone, just to see how that's going to work. Is that you? Okay. Okay. Sorry, my son has watching and stuff. So so now looking at this arm, not too pleased with this arm. I might adjust it just a tiny bit here. Maybe something like that. Have the arm kind of stick back a little bit. So at this stage, just kind of feeling out what kind of pose I want here. Maybe something like that. Okay. Now, when it comes to the chest, I'm thinking about the connective muscle here and the muscle fibers, how they kind of wrap around the bone here. So, trying to think about where the center line is, and then just kind of wrapping that around here. Okay, so just giving you guys my inner thoughts as I'm sketching out how this Hulk is looking like here. So that's why you would see kind of lines going like this. So these are different muscle fibers coming up, and that could come into play as we go ahead and do the shadowing a little bit later on. Okay, so maybe something like that. You know, I like giving him big shoulders, something like that here, like that. No neck. Hulk doesn't need a neck. Okay, so we also got the rib cage here. And as you can see, I did this big circle here that actually helps me kind of define the rib cage. Now, some people like to have the abs go all the way up to the chest, which if you look at some people actually have those genetics where the abs actually go up like all the way underneath the chest, and then you have some that the rib cage is a little bit lower. So this can vary. The actual rib cage itself, I like to leave a little bit of a rib cage in there. And then you would have all this little connective muscle that would come on the side here. Okay, so I'm always thinking about these type of things whenever I'm putting these type of characters together here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead, add some abs. Now in comic books, you could add as much abs as you want, really. But for the most part, usually people give the six-pack. Here are the abs, depending on how you would like to do it. Usually the belly button is in between the two bottom sets of abs, usually. Okay, though you do have exceptions. Some people have different anatomy than others. Okay, so looking at this point, I usually like to step back and think to myself, do I like the proportions of everything going on? The torso looks pretty big to me actually right now. It's looking a little thick. He's looking a little thick there, the Hulk, even for the Hulk, kind of a little thick. So I'm wondering if I should go out here, maybe make the arms just a tad bit bigger in that sense. Just a tad bit bigger. So just take a step back. Nice thing about having this on screen, I could actually just look up and I could have a feel of it. Okay, so again, I'm not liking the look of these abs here. I'm going to shrink them down just a tiny bit. Okay, and then just continuing that down. Yeah, I don't have much paper here. This is the bottom of the page here, so we're just going to stick to the torso here. Okay, so maybe something like that. Okay, I might come back and adjust a couple things. A couple things I like to do, making sure that the shoulder and then all the connective muscle tissue is going here because it's going to connect to the bone inside here. So just making sure that those all connect the way I like them to. So something like that. Okay, so let's go to the head here quickly. I'm just going to quickly, roughly outline the head here. Maybe he's looking down a bit. Okay, I like to put in the cheekbones, kind of rough that in. And one thing I do notice, and I've mentioned this before, is always trying to think in 3D. I've mentioned this before whenever I did tutorials before. I also mention it quite a bit in my live streams. Always try to think in 3D. And when I say think in 3D, it's the difference between, for example, you got a circle here, the difference between a circle and a sphere. That's what I always say. So circle, I could cut it in quarters like this. Right? That's how you would cut a circle. A sphere, though, I would cut it like this. Around, right? Around the surface. So this is the difference between 3D and 2D. So the same when it comes to, like for example, the head here. I'm thinking about the forehead plane here, how much that comes forward. Okay, I'm thinking about how these the skeleton, where the eye sockets are, how that would appear. Sometimes I'm really trying to think of what's happening underneath everything, all the muscles and all the skin and all that stuff here. So probably do something like that. I'm going to really rough in the eyes here. And then, the thing about the Hulk, people draw the Hulk in many different ways. One thing that kind of sets him apart, whenever I draw a big guy, I like to take the nose and make it small and kind of shove it up close to the eyes. So whenever I'm drawing the Hulk, I always have the nose kind of like high up at the top, something like that. Something like that, right? So it wouldn't be like a longer nose, be like really, really high, really high. And then the Hulk usually has like a longer upper lip. Usually has a big upper lip here, like that. So we're going to keep him simple just so I can show the shading a little bit better, okay? Give him a little big square chin, like so. And then people have done Hulk's hair in various ways, various different ways. I like to do, well, it depends on my mood. Some people fill his whole head with hair. I like to do like this little tuft at the top here. So I'll just kind of rough that in for now. And then I'm going to go ahead, add an ear on this side. Okay. Now, in terms of let me just take a quick look back here. It's not bad, not bad. I'm just, again, working on the proportions just a little bit more. Okay, and then the neck. Okay, you got these two little like kind of tubes. You always see that in comics. These two tubes like that. I don't know the technical term for it. Maybe you guys do. But there's a technical term for these two connecting tubes that go like that. And then depending on the artist, sometimes we have these like lines that go across here. But you got his big traps in the back here. But then people like to add like these veins here on the side. And we'll get to that in a second here. The way we go ahead and draw that. Okay. So let's just go down quickly here. Let me just roughen the hands just a little bit more. Something like that. Then over here, I'm going to add the hands again. Always starting with the index finger and kind of having them kind of curve inside just a little bit. And we got the thumb. Here like that. Okay, so something like that. Something like that, all right? See, part of me thinks that this arm's a little bit smaller than this arm, so we can make those adjustments here, especially at this rough stage. Okay, so, but let's talk actual shading at this point here. Okay, so this is our base here. This is our base here. So the first thing I like to do is kind of think of what kind of lighting I want. Okay, you have your standard like one directional light, which is kind of the easiest when it comes to doing things like comic books. So for example, if I were to have the light coming from here, okay, I would think to myself, okay, where is the light block? Where are these parts of the body is the light blocking? Okay, where in this area is the light blocking? Okay, so I could have light coming from here as well, and where is the light gonna block, right? So I'm always thinking about, okay, which is that one strong directional light, and how will it cast a shadow on the rest of the body here? Okay, so for the most part, I'm gonna say let's do. You know, you could even have an upper lighting too. You could do lighting like this way if you really want to. Okay, I'm gonna say let's do this lighting here. It's a standard one. It's the one I always do. Okay, but once I know where the light's coming from, that helps me understand how I'm going to add the shade to this thing, okay? And it helps me understand where the big darker darks I add will be, and how I will add the cross hatching, which I like to do, okay? So a lot of this stuff is optional in that sense. Some people like to do the lighting part in color itself, so it all depends on your style, but it is important to understand where exactly your light's coming from and make sure that when you light it, it consistently will be lit that way throughout the whole body. I think that's one thing that I see a lot of younger artists struggle with is the lighting, and mainly because sometimes they're looking at other artists' work and they like how they shade. And I fell into this problem too when I was younger. They liked how they shade, so they would just copy that shading, and then maybe they would look at another picture and copy that shading too. And what happens is sometimes you would have this inconsistent lighting and it would just look off. Or they would be adding lines, they don't know why those lines are added there. Okay, so for the most part, most of the time, there is a purpose with all of this light here. So with the lighting coming up from here, you would have a little bit of shade going like under here. You would have shade coming from underneath here, probably in here. You would get shade underneath the pectoral muscles. Underneath here, you would probably get a lot of shade going on in here, and maybe depending on how pronounced the abs are, you'd probably get shade coming out under here. More shade on this side. Okay, and you'll get some under the armpit, so this whole part here would probably be dark. But then you would have this sliver of skin here that would be lit up a little bit because the light's coming from behind. And you would have a little bit of shade coming this way as well. You would have light coming that way as well. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and do that? I might quickly, you know what I might even quickly do? Just to go show you guys the different shading. Okay, I'm going to quickly do an outline ink of this. And then I might do a couple photocopies of this, and show you just some different thought processes when it comes to shading itself. But why don't we go ahead and just quickly do an ink job on this guy here. Okay, nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. All right, just grab a pen here. Okay, so just bear with me here. So a lot of the times I'll just go straight into the shadow just because it's more fun. You know, so the drawing's really about having fun with everything. And if I know exactly what I want it to look like, it's not that big a deal. So I'm just gonna add a few lines here just to. Okay, so nothing really shaded here. I'm just adding some lines like so. Okay, one thing I always like to add too with the Hulk, he has these little bits of wrinkles here on the side. But I would go ahead here. See, I'm resisting the urge to shade. I want to save that for the end. Okay, resisting the urge because I always want to shade right away. Okay, so we could keep that like that. So pretty just much, I'm just doing a standard line art here. So it's up to you how much you want to add here. This pen is drawing out a little bit. That's okay. Might grab another pen. Just quickly, let's try the 3. Okay, so just adding, a little bit of detail here. Okay, not too much. We could always add more later. So sometimes I like to, do the outline like this, add the big blocks of shading, and then I would go ahead and add all the extra details that I would need around it. Okay, so maybe something like that. I might grab this really crappy pen here. Hold on. One second here, my friends. One second. Oh, this pen's good. That's a good pen. Oh, crappy pen. Here, I think one of these. It's a very small one. Let's try this one. This is a good pen. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'll just try to get this done a bit quicker. So just going ahead and adding some little details around here. I might even, here's the really, really crappy pen. This one here. That's a very crappy pen. Here. Never buy these, people. Unless you have no choice. Like me, because I ran out of my good stuff. So I have to buy the bad stuff here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go around here like this. just to get kind of the main forms here down. Okay. There you go. It's crappy, but it's faster. Okay, so now this pen will cease to be a crappy pen if they give me money. Okay. As of right now, it remains a crappy pen. Okay, so I'm gonna add some stuff there. Now we might go in a little bit later just to add a little bit of detail, like for example, like veins and stuff, and that's a common thing when it comes to bigger characters like this, adding little veins and stuff. That's a nice little touch to everything. But I just want to get a very loose and simple outline here, just so we could go ahead and start some of the shading here. Okay, so I just want to do the outline. Moving under here. Okay, chest here like so. Like that. Then I'm going to go ahead here and just add just a couple of details to the side. Just like that. Add in the abs here. Okay. So again, just keeping this a little loose because we're going to go ahead and add the shading in a second here. Okay. Just going to go ahead here and just kind of outline the fist here. And the same with the other side. By the way, guys, I was talking to I had a one-on-one session with one of the mentorship patrons the other day, and we were talking about one fun thing that I might want to do on the channel, if you guys are down, and this would be just for the $25 and up patrons, having some life drawing sessions. I think that would be a lot of fun, right? Because I found this site where they have like these free models. And we could get together. We could all draw them together. Like life drawing is a lot of fun, and for like even if you're trying to draw comic books, like I know comic book artists with really cartoony styles, but even they told me how valuable it is just drawing from life and doing life drawing itself. So that might be something we start soon, but it would have to be like on a weekday. It might have to be on a weekday, but we'll see. We'll see what's a good time for you guys. Okay, well, we'll figure it out a little bit later on. Okay? I think that's a little bit more valuable than watching a movie, though watching movies fun too. At the same time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, movies are fun, but I'm sure you guys want to learn some stuff too. So for example, just say we have this. Now, just give me a second. I'm just going to quickly let's see if I can make a very quick copy of this. Let's see if this is on. Whoops. To make a very, very quick copy of this. Or at least that just that one section there. Copy. Oop, black and white. Okay. Ooh, I don't want glossy. Says, I do not want glossy. Glossy, no good. I don't want glossy. Oh no, that's gonna take forever. Never mind. It was a good idea in theory. But maybe I'll just draw it into their face later. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the shadowing here. So because we have shadow coming down here, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some darker blacks to this drawing here. So let me grab another one of these crappy markers here. Because I do need it is easier if you have like a brush or something that can distribute a lot of blacks. Okay, so again, this step you can actually do in color as well. So this doesn't necessarily just apply to line art itself. You can apply the same theories to color. But even before that, I might add just a little guideline for a vein, because Hulk is known for having veins on him, right? So depending on the artist, a lot of artists like to draw veins. So I'm just going to quickly rough in a vein here. Okay, and then we'll talk a little bit more how to treat that a little bit later. Probably have a vein going down like this. Like that. Okay, so something like that, just to give me an idea. So, light's coming down this way. So things that were going to be in shadow. So pretty much you could guarantee there's going to be shadow under this pec here. Now, whenever adding shadow underneath the pectoral muscle here, sometimes I do like to leave a little bit of white space here. Now, there's in film, we have something called three-point lighting. And three-point lighting, that pretty much means you have a directional light, like so. You have a fill light, so a light that comes from the front or very close to the front. And then you have a light that comes from behind. It kind of helps highlight the body, and it kind of helps push it forward. So I like to mimic that sometimes. So I think to myself, okay, if there's a light coming from behind, maybe that would bounce off something, and then, or the light would bounce and hit, illuminate just a little bit of the inside here. So that's my thought process in leaving just a little bit of white here. But I'm going to go in here and then start adding some darks in here. So again, that's why I'm going to leave a little bit of white space here as well. Okay, so that's why I'm going to think about the light coming from behind. Maybe it'll bounce behind here and add it there. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and darken this area here, like that, like so. Okay, so light's coming here. Maybe this rib cage here will make a little bit of a shadow like this, and become light's coming this way because the Hulk has somewhat pronounced abs. Okay, so this is something that I've picked up from David Finch, of course. By the way, that David Finch interview should be coming this week. Okay, that will be coming on my main channel, hopefully this week. But if you were watching this in November, it's out already. Okay, so you just go back and if you go to the main channel, you'll find that fun talk we had with Andy Park and David Finch. Okay. So get some light coming here underneath. Maybe he'll have a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. Okay, this one will probably have a little bit more darkness to it, just like that. Okay. And then because we're here, I'm just adding a little bit of adjusting to everything. Okay. Maybe a little bit of dark in here. Something like that. Okay. I'm gonna go up here to the top here. I'm gonna just add a little bit of shadow underneath here. Okay. There'll probably be a little bit of shadow right underneath the chin here, to the point where you might not even see what's underneath there. Then adding some shadow all around here, like so. So the head's like blocking that light coming here around like so. Okay, so it's up to you. You could even add a little bit of darkness here. You really want to add some more shade coming this way. You definitely could do something like that. So sometimes it's just a feeling out process. Now also, sometimes I would like to add like a little bit of shadow right under the collarbone here. So I'll go here and I'll add just a bit of shadow underneath here, the collarbone there. Now we're going to go here. I'm going to add a bit of shadow, kind of to accentuate the the front deltoid muscle, like so. Now, keep it in mind, I'm keeping in mind this vein. Like, I might even go and outline it just a little bit, because his veins are so big, it would cast a tiny bit of a shadow on it, right? So that's how I would go about trying to include that vein in there. So do something like that, and then this particular vein in here, that's going to get lost in the shadow itself. So I'm going to have that kind of fade into the shadow. Now we'll get to that more in a second here, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of round that out like so, okay? So something like that, okay? Same with this side here. You probably have a little vein coming out like that, but again, just trying to figure out, okay, so light's coming this way. How is it going to block, all right? Now, there's no perfect math to this. Well, there is perfect math to this, but at the same time, you know, we do what feels right at the end of the day, okay? So you could be off a little bit, but as long as it looks cool, you could get away with it at the same time. Okay? It's one fun part about drawing. Sometimes you could just make it up as you go along. So over here, this would probably be in shadow here. Okay, we'll probably do something special with these hands here. I probably will just add a little bit of shadow coming like this. On the side here, maybe a little bit underneath the finger here. Maybe something like that, okay? Now, in terms of this forearm here, you have this front, this muscle here. I forgot my technical terms. It's been a while. Back when I took illustration, we actually had to memorize all the muscles and all the bones. That was part of the course. And that it was helpful. That was very helpful, trying to understand that. Now, sometimes people would like to add like all these veins over here. I'm not going to do that today, but that's definitely something you could do as well. And just add a little bit, like so here. Okay. Now, in terms of clothing, okay, and the clothing could be definitely a lesson all to itself. But I'm just thinking about the way the clothing would kind of wrap around here, the body, so you would get a lot of the wrinkles here. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of wrinkles here. I'm not going to concentrate too much on this bottom part here. We're just going to concentrate more on the top area. Okay, so let's go to the face here. I grab the smaller Sharpie, okay? So again, light's coming this way. In terms of deep darks here, I'm going to add a little bit under the eye, like so. You probably would get a little bit, kind of like eye bags a little bit, like that way, if the light's coming this way. And on this side here, this would be the same, pretty much. Okay? And the people handled the nose a little bit differently. I'm going to add like a little bit of shadow here, but not complete. Okay? And I would think that the nose would cast a little bit of a shadow on this side as well, like that. So something like that. Okay? Probably add a little bit more shadow underneath this cheekbone here. And then I would add some more shadow underneath the mouth area here. A lot of people like to do that. So it depends on the artist. Every artist has their way of actually shadowing things. Like this is the method I personally like to use here. Okay, so something like that. Okay, in terms of the hair, again, hair could be definitely a tutorial on its own. Trying to figure out hair, but I'm thinking about whenever I draw hair, I think of it in clumps. I try to think of clumps of hair, sections of hair, as opposed to like individual strands when I can. Okay, so maybe something like that. Okay, now here on the side here, I'm gonna add just some shadowing underneath here, like this, like so. kind of, I think of these like veins in the neck, you know? Veins in the neck here. Just kind of popping out, popping through like that, okay? Something like that. Okay. So something like that, okay? Not the best picture of Hulk I've done, but just to give you my thought process. Definitely the thought process is the same here. Maybe I'm in a Thanksgiving mood, my friends. So I'm not at my best. I'm thinking of turkey. I'm thinking of turkey, my friends. Fried turkey. I haven't tried that deep fried turkey yet. I should try that one of these days. Heard it's really good. The deep fried turkey. Oh, by the way, if for those of you who are watching this in November, we're actually filming this the day before Canadian Thanksgiving. So maybe this will come out on American Thanksgiving. we're all caught up. We're all caught up. So I'm just going here, adding just a few more lines here and there, just a little bit of details. Again, this is all optional type stuff. All right. So let's get on to how you actually shade something. All right. So all of this is just general darks and blacks here. Okay. People can stop here. You could definitely stop here. That's definitely a style. I like to keep going and add in some cross hatching and hatching. Okay. So for those of you who don't know what this is, cross hatching, different ways to shade. All right. So you could have hatching, which is just lines going across. You could have cross hatching where you have lines, and then you have lines that go across, and then that could get thinner as we go along, okay? And then that would feel like shadow, okay? When you're working with black and white, you don't have the luxury of grayscale here. So that's pretty much what the hatching is all about. It's us trying to mimic something being in grayscale, okay? So to give it dimension. So I always like to add lines that go across the form, okay? So let's talk about this this particular deltoid here, okay, the shoulder muscle. So things I think about whenever I'm going ahead and cross-hatching here, okay? First of all, I think of the surface, okay? The shading has to go across the surface, okay? So I can't just blindly put lines like this, all right? Now, you guys see me do it faster because mentally I know how to do it. But I always think of myself, okay, how does this surface look? Okay, if I were to put a grid around this surface here, okay, how would this surface look in 3D? Because if you just put the lines any which way you want, it's going to look flat at the same time. So when you do the hatching, you want to make sure it follows the form of the object, okay? So it's going to go around the bicep. So when I go ahead and add the hatching here, for example, I'm going to go ahead and try to match the form. So as you see here, see this grid I drew? I'm trying to imagine myself, okay, I'm drawing these lines here and they're going around this form. Okay? And that way, it will have that shape that you want it to. It will have that feel that you want it to. Okay? As opposed to just random lines going like that. And sometimes it could feel that way. Sometimes it could actually look that way. Just random lines. But really it's not. It's thinking about these lines going across that form. And then sometimes you'll see us adding some cross-hatching here. Same thing. When we're going this way, we're trying to go around the form. Like that. Around the form. Here, we're going around the form. Here, we're going around the form. Okay? So it's not all random. And that's what I think a lot of young artists, they just see the lines and just try to copy the lines. But this is something we need to understand here, is why those lines are there. So here, okay, so we have these fibers here. They're all going this way. So I'm trying to have the lines going that way. Same here. Same here. And then if you want to add a little bit of cross hatching here, you have to know it should go from thick, like very close together, and then looser as you get out. And looser as you get out. And that will have the appearance of light kind of wrapping around the object. And that's what we're trying to go for here. Have it feel like the light is going around all these particular muscles here. Okay, so that's what I do. That's what David does. You know, that's our thought process behind this type of thing. Light going around the form here. So the same thing here. Now, I personally like drawing this style. Again, you could do this with color, or take this theory and do it with color, like with shade. Just shade it with color, right? You don't even need these lines. So this is definitely a style choice. Doing lines like this, it's not necessary when it comes to comic books, or a comic book style, or even any drawing style. But it's just a style I grew up with, and it's a style that actually got me into comics. That whole Jim Lee Image Comics style. And by the way, guys, if you were fans of Image Comics, you're gonna love that interview I did with Dave, because him and Andy talking about their old Top Cow days. It was really fun to see. It was really fun, and then they gave us a lot of insight into working for like Rob Liefeld and for Mark Silvestri and all those older, you know, all the people of that era, all the people of the Image Comics era. It's really, really interesting. So, okay, so stuff like that, right? So you see how much that adds to it. Okay, it feels rounder now. Okay, the shape feels rounder, and that's the hope. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. A lot of it's the same. I'm just trying to go around here. Okay, so now you'll also see some artists do this. Travis Charest does this a lot. He'll actually add a little bit more dots here like this. And what that does is it kind of breaks up the line a little bit. And that's what he's trying to do. It's trying to break up the line. So it feels like, again, the light gradating a little bit more around. Okay, so Travis Charest, a lot of people's main influence, Travis Charest. Definitely one of mine. One of my goals when I was working in comics was to be the on-time Travis Charest. That was my goal. I failed, but there was a lot of artists who was like that. I think the guy who got closest to being the on-time Travis Charest, his name's Steve McNiven, who's I think is still doing some amazing things at Marvel right now. I actually asked Steve McNiven if I could interview him. He said no. So he's a very shy guy. He's very shy. That's why. So like, okay, no problem. Him and one guy I also tried to interview, Jay Lee. I tried to interview Jay Lee, but very, very shy. Very, very shy guy. So he doesn't like being interviewed. Okay, so just gonna go ahead and go around. Okay, so that thought process I applied to every single part of the drawing here. Okay, so thinking about sometimes I'll even add. Sometimes I'll even add just a little bit of line here, just to make these muscle fibers feel a little bit more round, but at the same time doing these longer strokes here. Okay. When it comes to the head here, sometimes I'll add little details, like I'll do a little ticks like that, and sometimes I do that just so you could feel the form a little bit better, okay? So they don't necessarily have to be there, but it just helps me in terms of trying to have people, really feel the form of the face, right? Feel that 3D-ness of the face. I just realized I didn't give him eyebrows. Sometimes people draw them with eyebrows, sometimes people don't. But it depends on your style and how you like to draw certain characters here. The way I got my first Marvel job was, for the most part, when a Marvel editor calls you out of the blue to have you work on something, and you've never worked with them before, I'd say 95% of the time it's because they're late on a book and they can't find anyone else to help out. So they'll go to somebody new in the hopes that they could help fill in. That's what happened to me. I got on an issue of Hulk, they were really behind. I was on Marvel's radar for a while. And he saw this pinup I did of the Hulk on my website. So they called me up and they're like, "Hey James, can you fill in on this issue of Hulk Destruction?" That was my first Marvel job, Hulk Destruction. And I said, "Of course." This was like Friday night. I said, "Of course." He goes, "Okay, can you start like now?" They were very late on the book. So I was like, "All right, yeah, sure." So I was actually pretty proud of myself on that time because it was the first time I actually finished a book early. I never finished a book early. I was always scrambling for time at the end, but I was so determined to make, out of all my past failures in comic books, I was so determined to make my first job in Marvel work. Okay, so, and for the most part it did. So it wasn't too bad. So that was my first job. It was at Marvel. It was Hulk Destruction number 2. I did half the issue with Jim Munitz, I think that's his name. Jim Muntz. I never know how to pronounce his name. And then I did. They gave me a Invisible Woman, Captain Universe, one shot. I did for them, and then I did a run on a title called Amazing Fantasy, where I got to redesign. Well, I didn't redesign it, but it was like they brought Death's Head back. And I was excited to work on it, but then they hired a writer that I kind of butt heads with when I was working in Transformers. His name's Simon Furman. We're friends now. Simon Furman. He's a classic writer. He's mainly known for his Transformers writing, but I believe he helped create Death's Head. So I think that's why they hired him. But when I was working in Transformers, he wrote an issue of Transformers, which I drew, and he complained about the way I did my story. He complained about my art. So I was kind of a little disappointed when I found out he was writing it, but it was cool. It was cool. We did all right. So I'm just gonna go here, keep adding this all around. Okay, so pretty much in terms of shadowing, that's pretty much my thoughts whenever I'm going to shadow something. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm going around the abs, adding shadow, going like that. So the whole point is trying to figure out the form and understanding how light's going to react to that form. Okay, sometimes it's even if you just took a picture of yourself and have take your phone light and kind of shadowing around so you could see how light would affect, like especially a face, right? One of the hardest things to achieve, and even I struggle with it, is like underlighting. If you do underlighting for a face, like how much darkness you add to the face. Are you going to add black to the top of the nose when you do underlighting? There's all sorts of different things you could think about whenever you're doing this type of lighting here. I might take a lot of my older tutorials and re-upload them to the second channel. So again, guys, the second channel, youtube.com/James Raiz, that will become the and if you're watching, you know this already. This is the art channel, or this is the drawing channel, as we say, where we are concentrating more on the actual art, learning how to draw and all that stuff. Okay, while the main channel, it will be more entertainment going forward. So more me having fun, me doing more, something more for the general audience. So if you're more into the actual artwork itself and the process of art, this is the channel you want to be at. This is the one where, and it's actually fun because there's less people here, so it's more, I'll probably notice you more, right? in this area here. Okay, so I've had a 20-year-long career in art. Is it 20? It would be 20 this year for sure. I graduated college in 2000. And 2000 was when I got my first comic book job at Dreamwave Productions back in the day. And then always bouncing around, right? So it's my A lot of experience, guys. A lot of experience here. So this is where I'm going to be sharing my experience here. You know, I really wanted to start my my documentary. Did I tell you guys about my documentary? Have I told you guys about that? No? Yeah. I want to do this documentary where I interview artists from all spectrums of life, right? So all different kind of artists, right? Like painters, pottery people, like, but YouTube artists, and even new wave artists, right? TikTok artists, guys who just make their living doing TikTok, doing art on TikTok, right? Newer wave, and my whole point to the series is, the whole series is for my mom. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, it's for my mom, or it's for the parent that doesn't understand how someone can actually make a living doing artwork. That's why. So I want to go around and show them the type of life people live as artists, you know. So there's two things I want to do. I want to write a book on that, and secondly, I want to show that. I want to show that kind of life, that real life that artists live, a real life an artist can live, and not just the, you know, not just the good parts, the bad parts too, right? I want to show both sides. Okay, so that, you know, I wish there was something like that when I told my mom I was going to be an artist at the end of the day, because you know, at the end of the day, and I mentioned this before in my vlogs, you know, the parents, they just, you know, sometimes they just want the best for their kids, and they don't understand how a career in art is good for their kids, right? So I want to show them it definitely can be, and at the same time definitely cannot be if they choose the wrong kind of career, right? But you know, just to give everyone, like even artists themselves, sometimes artists, people like, I know how to draw, now what do I do? Or I like drawing, what do I do now? So, and I've always been putting it off. It's gonna be a little harder with everything happening to us now, but it's something I do want to start sooner than later, for sure. But we will see, and especially since my buddy John Campia just finished his documentary, and he showed me, he sent me a screener of it, so I watched it. Right, and it's a really good documentary. It's a lot of fun, and then all the while I'm watching, I'm like, you know what, I could do something like this. I said to myself, I could definitely do something like this. It wasn't too crazy, so. But with this COVID thing, I can't, you know, in Canada, we can't cross the border right now, so I'd have to be all Canadian artists for now. But we'll see here. Okay, so for the most part, guys, that's how my thought process when I shade something like the Hulk. Again, it's not my best pick of Hulk in the world here. I would have done the eyes a little bit more crazy. Okay, this is my it's Thanksgiving tomorrow Hulk. Okay, there you go. Now, one thing I might add here, just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and add some little stubble here for the Hulk. Which is kind of weird, though. Does that mean... And I've heard people say this, too. What about Thanos? Because Thanos has stubble, too. And people are like, what? Does Thanos shave? Is that why he has stubble? Like that? Does he know the right amount of stubble? Does he shave every morning? I don't know. But it's always just like a nice touch when you add stubble. But when you add stubble, just make sure, again, just like when you're doing the cross-hatching here, that it follows the form of the face. So concentrate it where there would be shadow. So I would concentrate the stubble where I know there'd be a little bit of shadow, like underneath here. And make it a little bit more sparse when it's not in those areas here. So might even add some here. Look at that. The Hulk has a shaved head. He has a barber. Who could cut the Hulk's hair? Like that. I always wondered how Superman cut his hair. I always wondered that. Like I remember in Superman, I think it was Superman 4, where they had his hair holding up like a weight or something like that, and then Lex just used a pair of pliers to cut his hair. Right? So if Superman were to, you know, if a bomb were to explode in front of Superman would be fine, but wouldn't his hair be fizzled? Right? Wouldn't his hair go away? I don't know. Little things to
It's
think
the
about.
makeup artist.
Yeah, maybe. So, other things that I know some artists like to do, and this is something that David Finch likes to do a lot, is because we know life isn't perfect. So sometimes we do things just to make things a little bit more imperfect. in that sense, right? So the Hulk, probably not the cleanest guy in the world. I don't think after he, just the Hulk, he goes takes a shower, so it's probably a little dirty. Okay, so sometimes we would do things like add like little bits of dirt here. So yeah, my friend Dave would do things like this a lot. He would add like these little lines here that kind of represent like imperfections. Let's call that them imperfections here. All right, so I would add like a little bit of lines like that going around. It just adds like a little bit of detail to it. But again, when you do it, remember the form when you do something like this. Also helps break up the lines a little bit. Sometimes, depending on the artist, for example, Stephen Platt, he was one of my influences when I was being a comic book artist. I think he does storyboards now, if I'm not mistaken. He does do the odd Marvel cover here and there. But he would go ahead and he would add like these little dots here, like these random dots. Like especially in things like metal and stuff like that. But me personally, I also like to add it to the forms here. Again, a couple reasons for breakup. Another, just to kind of rough them up, so it's not that clean, just to get away from that clean look. Okay. But those are little things like that, right? Like even the hands sometimes. And again, you'll see guys like David Finch, Jason Fabok do stuff like this where, they'll add a little bit of lines in the fingers. Sometimes it's cross-hatching. Sometimes it's just like a little bit of detail here going around. But the most important thing is it follows the form. It doesn't work unless it follows the form. Okay? These lines have to feel like they're sitting on the surface. Okay? Or else it's not going to work as well. Or the mind won't feel it will work as well if you do something like that. Right? By the way, Kyle, you've joined the Facebook group already? Have you joined the Patreon group?
Yes.
You have? Okay, great. Okay. By the way, those of you watching on Patreon who have tried to join the group, but I haven't admitted you yet, it's probably because I don't recognize your name. Okay, so if you try to join the group and I didn't accept you into the group, it's probably because I don't recognize or you have a Facebook name that's different than your Patreon name. So if that's the case, just send me a message and let me know. Because there are some people who find the group and are trying to enter, but they're not patrons. That's the thing. So we want to make sure it's exclusive. That's the hard part about doing this exclusive group on Facebook, which is actually why I'm considering other options with it. But we'll see. We'll see in the next few weeks. Okay. But for the most part, those are my thoughts when it comes to shading something. Like especially like the Hulk, but again, you could probably apply this to any character that you do. I shade all my heroes like this, and like you guys who watched my work for a long time, you know that this is pretty much how I shade my work when it comes to the Hulk, right? Not just the Hulk, but any sort of character, okay? And then again, it all depends on what type of character, what kind of clothing they wear. So maybe in the future, we could talk about how I would approach clothing when it comes to something like this. Wrinkles and folds. We talked a little bit about that, but that's definitely something we can get a little more into. Okay, so for those of you who are watching on Patreon, if you could do me a favor then, in the comments in this Patreon post, okay, let me know of other things that you would like me to cover. So I'll come a little bit more prepared for next week. I'll be a little bit more prepared as we go ahead and talk about the next lesson here, okay, and what you guys would like me to focus on in that case, okay? But for the most part, that's exactly what I'm thinking whenever I'm shading, okay? Well, again, wish the drawing was a little bit better, probably be a little bit better. Maybe it will be better after I have some turkey in me. We'll see how that goes here, okay? So I'm going to ask my friends here Taylor's in here. Let me add Taylor first of all. Let me add Taylor Taylor's coming in, and I'm gonna actually bring you guys on screen right now. Taylor's coming in. Apologies, Taylor. I just saw you now. I just saw you right now. Just got home. He's connecting to the audio. There. New York covered his face. Oh no, he's flipping his camera around.
Yeah,
I thought you were covering your face, my friend. There's Taylor, right on time. There you go. Hey, buddy. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Just finished a 6-hour tattoo.
Oh, nice. That must have been fun. What kind of tattoo was it?
Actually, it was really cool. We did some roses with like a cross and a Viking compass.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Is it completely done, or was that just part?
It's beginning like a forearm sleeve, so we they were both on different arms, so it's getting a ways to go. But we set up another 6-hour for next month. So.
Oh, right on. That's exciting. That's exciting. You get to take breaks in between those 6 hours, right?
Yeah, I take like 2 or 3 throughout it, just little stretch breaks from a back.
yeah, for sure, right.
But I get in the zone and I just keep going if they let me. So.
right on. Nice. Well, you caught the tail end of this, but I'm glad you're able to hop on. But maybe next time, would you guys be okay if we started this a little bit later next week? If we, but that might be hard for York though. York's like
No, I actually have the holidays next week.
Oh, so next week's okay. We can start a little bit later so Taylor can come on when he gets home from work.
Yeah, obviously, you guys don't need to worry about me, though. I always throw it on in the background, throw some AirPods.
There you go.
No matter what.
Right on. Well, today, Taylor, we just I'm not sure if you caught much of it, but we were just talking about shading and all that stuff. So the drawing's actually pretty much done here. So if you guys have anything you wanted to share, did you guys want to share anything there, Kyle or York?
I've been following the tutorial.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at your. I'm gonna let me see if I can pin you, York. Oh, look at that. Looks exactly the same as mine.
Yes.
Let me pin that there. There you go.
No.
That's definitely the idea. Nice. I like that. You have a different hair. Yours is messier than mine. Mine he combed it. He combed it because he knew I was gonna draw.
Yeah, I'm not good at this stuff. I really needed this.
Though
tutorial.
I did like the fact that you shaded the hair pretty nicely in terms of the clumps casting a shadow onto the forehead. Yeah. That's really smart. Very cool, man. Very
Thank
cool.
you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Nice. How about you, Kyle? You got something for me? You got Yeah, okay, I'm going to pin Kyle here. Oh, I can multi-pin. Okay, very cool, Kyle. Very cool. Look at that. Nice. Great job.
Thank you.
Looks like mine. That's the whole. Oh, look at that. Right on. There you go. Did you draw that at the same time? Or is that before?
Yeah, I was flip-flopping between the two.
Oh, really?
And
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Good stuff. How about you, Alexi? Are you able to show anything, Alexi? I know your camera's still not working, right, buddy?
Yeah, I was trying to put it on, but it still doesn't work.
Okay, that's okay. How about if you guys could do me a favor, then why don't you go post them in the Facebook group, and I could take a look at them over there as well.
I'm gonna finish the tutorial.
Okay, right on, for sure. Okay, do you guys have any questions about this, by the way, since you guys are here, right?
It was great.
Right?
It really helped me in terms of cross-hatching.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cross-hatching, it's really, it took me a while to kind of figure it out. And it's one of those things where if that's something you like to do, there's people who just, they don't even like to do it, right? At the same time. Oh, hold on. I'm just going to change the view here. Let's see. Gallery view. Okay, so I can see all of you guys. Right on. Cool. So, do you have any suggestions for next week? Taylor, you have a suggestion for next week? That you would like to
actually, I had
focus on?
one really little question, though.
Sure.
So, these are going to be viewable on our Patreon, right? So I can jump back and watch the whole thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They will stay here, and they will actually go live for the public next month. Okay, so but you guys get the exclusive, and you get to ask me questions and stuff.
Well, because I'm actually, I was a little bit, when I started watching, which was like probably halfway through, I was like, oh, shading, this is totally one that I wanted to be a part of. But because I definitely want to work on that a little bit more too, because I love how dynamic you go with solid blacks into gradients. So right on. But I would like I think a dynamic poses one would be cool.
Oh yeah,
just like a quick figure study day.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? That'd be a fun one to do next week for sure. We could do something in a pose, like, because whenever I'm doing something like that, I'm thinking of like shapes, and I like to think perspective-wise how that would work. So yeah, I got a lot of ways to kind of tackle that when we get into the next week, right? So for sure, let's see if anyone else is watching, or is it just us? Here, if it's just us watching here. Anyone else there? Nope, it's just Yorick in the chat.
Yeah, is anyone here?
So, any of you guys who are watching this a little bit later on, okay, if you're watching this in the Patreon post, by all means, let me know what else you would like me to focus on. But that sounds like a wonderful subject for next week. We could definitely do some dynamic figure drawing for next week, okay? But, you know, since we're doing that, why don't you let me know what kind of characters you want me to draw in the comments, okay? And then we'll pick one of those.
Okay, and I promise you I won't pick any more Kurt Russell characters from the 80s because everyone's young here. And
no, please do, for me. Do it for me. Forget them. Do it for me. There you go. Okay, so while we're here, I want to say thank you to everyone who are watching here today. Why don't you go ahead and shout out where people can find you since you're here. Taylor, you weren't here earlier, so why don't we start with you. Taylor, where can people find you and your work?
Well, they can find a lot of my work on basically every social media platform at Tay Tattoos. I'm starting up a YouTube, which I'm working on, both Instagram and Facebook, Tay Tattoos. So.
Right on. Alexi, what'd you tell us about your channel?
I just started my own channel, Drawings for You. You can find it on YouTube, and that's basically it.
By the way, Alexi's he's a star. You know, he's he's an actor. Alexi's an actor. Very good one too, my friend. There you go. Okay, Yorick, where can people find you online?
Yeah, on YouTube I'm just New York Art, and then on Insta I'm also New York Art.
That's perfect. So. It's better that way. See, you guys are smart. Keep everything the same. I keep forgetting whether I'm going to put the in front of box office artist. So some of the things box office artist, some's the box office. Yeah, it's confusing. Anyway, I should have just used my name. If you ask me. Okay, how about you, Kyle? Again, where can people find you, buddy?
It's Kyle Horn Art, pretty much across the board: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Right on. Awesome. So if you guys want to check them out, and yeah, this is fun. This was fun. We'll definitely do more of these. For sure. Taylor was talking to them about... Oh, look at that. Well, by the way, before we do that, York, who's that with you down there?
That's my dog.
There's your dog.
He's sitting beside me.
Does he draw as well? Does he draw? Maybe a little bit. What's his name?
Denzel.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nice, Denzel. Thanks for joining, Denzel. There you go. Right on. Okay. So, this fun. Taylor, I was saying that maybe it might, during the week... instead of doing a movie watch along, I think it would be fun if we did some like life drawing sessions. I thought that would be a lot of fun, right? So I found a site that has the models that are actually timed, so we could actually go in there. Maybe we could all just go there and just start drawing models, right? I think that would be more fun and actually more better for you guys too. To be honest,
I would absolutely love that, and I've been meaning to do that more and more recently for myself.
right on for sure. You know, the reason I found this site was because I was teaching this comic book course at this college, and I booked a model to come in to do some light drawing, but the model forgot to come in, so I was stuck. Like, I had 3 hours to film. Like, what are we gonna do? Okay, so I went to YouTube. They gotta have models on YouTube. So we were drawing models off YouTube for a while. They're like, we could have done this at home. I'm like, probably. Right? So
it's one of those things that's super important, though. I used to literally, I've actually never actually went to college formally, but I used to go to the local college in Portland, like after hours, because there was always a group of art students who would pay for a model out of pocket for everyone, and they didn't mind if other people joined in and dropped the $5 in too to pay the model. And so we used to do that like once or twice a week.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Definitely helps so much too, like especially like gesture exercises and all that, just to kind of understand the human form. So that's definitely something. So look out for your messages, guys. I was talking to again one of the other patrons, but she could only do it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. So it'd probably be on a weekday. Hopefully that we could make that work out for you guys somehow. Hopefully we can make it work out for everybody. But we'll see. Okay. But again, guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And if you're watching this on in November, this is November. If you're watching there, you want to be a part of the Patreon, you can be one of these guys here hanging out with me. By all means, check it out. If there's a tier for you, go check out the Patreon as well. But make sure you hit the subscribe button so we can all be better artists together. Okay, guys? All right. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Okay, I ended the stream. Okay, and I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Thanks for hanging out.